I respect everybody until I get disrespected. I'd like to talk to Jim Carrey today, Mr. Funny Man, who thinks he's going to join Obama's campaign. Now remember, Biden asked the supposed mainstream media to help them sell gun control to the American public. That is pure and simple propaganda. But we're on Jim Carrey today. This abysmally ignorant retard is trying to say that if you own a gun, then you have mental issues, or your penis is small. We'll get back to that penis thing in a little while. I have a little quote I'd like to sing to little Jimmy, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. I find it kind of ironic, a man that stands behind armed bodyguards tells you you don't need to protect yourself or your family. You're a nut job if you want a gun. Nice guy. I'd like to remind Mr. Carrey that it is the Second Amendment that keeps the rest of the amendments alive and the Constitution. If it was not for the Second Amendment, the Constitution would already be dead, along with your right, your First Amendment right, to run your mouth how you feel. So you see, that Second Amendment keeps you saying what you please, even if it's ignorant. How come people that want to take your guns away are constantly preaching tolerance, and yet go on an all-out blitz for anybody that owns a gun? Guns save lives. Guns save lives. Yep, they take lives too. But let's remember, people, guns do not get up off the table and do anything on their own. It is the heart of the man holding the gun that is evil or good. A restriction on the ammo that any gun can hold is a restriction on my constitutional right to protect myself. A restriction says that you can only protect yourself up to 10 rounds, up to 6 rounds, whatever the ignorant state that is enacting these ignorant laws, restrictions, you are limiting now my freedom to fight back. It's really nice now the criminals can sit back and just count when somebody's trying to protect themselves the number of shots they've fired. Once they've fired the allotted lawful amount, the criminal's just going to come out from behind cover and pop you right in the head because you got no more bullets to shoot at him, or you're busy reloading, while he, the criminal, is not. Criminals don't follow laws. You see, the law-abiding citizen follows the laws. So how is restricting the law-abiding citizen constitutional in the least? It's not. You cannot restrict the law-abiding citizen while the lawbreaker has no restrictions. You can't do it. It's unconstitutional. You're restricting my right to protect myself. How can that be constitutional in any way? When a criminal shows up, he knows the cop's not there. He knows he has time before the cop gets there. Might be a limited amount of time, but he has time. The guy with the gun that's supposed to protect you, he's showing up after. They're never there when the crime is being committed. We're very seldom. So we're supposed to wait for the cop to show up. No, the Constitution says that we have a right to defend ourselves, our lives, our family, our property. Dan, my boy Malloy, Connecticut governor, You're a scumbag. You and Blumenthal and Murphy are two state senators that think they're smarter than the criminal investigators that know that a home invasion is usually perpetrated by 3 or more individuals. Why are you going to restrict how hard I can fight back when 3 people show up at my house, kick my door in, and they all have weapons? And not one of them is following the ammo laws. Every one of them is going to be armed to the teeth. You want to limit me. How? How is that going to help the American public? It helps the criminal. This is aid to the criminal. This helps the criminal. If the gun culture is so bad, because we hear Jim Carrey disparaging every single one of us that owns a gun, we must have a small penis, so we're making up for it with a gun. How can we be so bad? How can we be so evil if half of you people are still walking the streets? If we were so evil, all of these gun owners would have just taken you pukes out. We wouldn't have to worry about you. The hell with you. No, the people that own guns are law-abiding citizens. These people go through fingerprint checks. These people go through background checks, which is unconstitutional, by the way. You're restricting gun ownership. You're restricting Americans' right to fight back and protect himself. Any restriction is unconstitutional. Now, Baboon Biden thinks that more restrictions are going to help when he said himself the old restrictions aren't being followed. Nobody's upholding these laws. Then every time a crime happens, we hear, I'm sure it was a straw purchase. I'm sure it was... No, I'll bet it was a stolen gun from a legal, law-abiding homeowner who had the gun to protect himself. Some lowlife broke into his house and took his gun. Wasn't a straw purchase. I love hearing that one, time and time again, and then you get proven wrong. Anybody can get online here and Google towns that have enacted policies that all residents must be armed. These towns, the crime drops dramatically. Doesn't go up. It drops. This is proof positive that gun ownership saves lives. Unrestricted gun ownership saves lives. You're going to limit how many bullets a man can shoot back at a perpetrator, as somebody that's coming at them. You're going to restrict how much they can fight back. How can that be constitutional in any way? How can that be safe in any way? How can that be looking out for the law-abiding public in any way? Jim Carrey, you punk. You're a piece of shit. Call people filthy names because they want to protect themselves? Because they own a gun? While you piece of shit, you hide behind people with guns. You hide behind high gates that you can afford because of people like me spending money on your filthy movies. Movies, by the way, have guns in them. You scumbag. It's okay to make your money off of guns, huh? But nobody can protect their life, their children, their property? Only you? Only the elitist? You and Dianne Feinstein, who brags about how she carried a gun, but now it's okay. It's not okay for the average American to protect themselves? You people are, I can't believe how audacious you people think you are. You think you're so much above us. We are the people who pay your salaries. You son of a bitch. Before I go, Mr. Carrey, Got a little dig at you, motherfucker. You want to take my gun away? You want to run your mouth about, I think I have to have a gun because my penis is small? Let me give you a little bit of advice. Sigmund Freud says, a fear of weapons is a sign of retarded sexual and emotional maturity. That's you, Mr. Small Penis. You're the one that's afraid of guns. You're the one that's got a problem up here. To restrict the ammo or gun ownership of any law-abiding American, or any American for that matter, I don't understand how a felon needs to be vulnerable to crime himself. Because you think a felon isn't trustworthy with a gun. There are different felony crimes, by the way, that don't include a gun and don't include violence. But if you're a felon, you can't own a gun. We need to look at what's really going on in this country, people. Rand Paul exposed the truth that DHS is buying up ammo at a phenomenal rate. They're arming themselves with armored vehicles on United States soil. It is against the Constitution to have a standing army on United States soil. Look it up, people. Google away. Jim Carrey's the biggest piece of shit walking. And anybody who spends money on this filth movie, I'm sure you must be part of the liberal crowd. Have fun with that. Because what you people don't seem to understand is that when we fight for our gun rights, we are fighting for your, even though you don't deserve them, gun rights also. Have a nice day.